Welcome to Shri and Kira Live, the voice of passionate action, bringing fresh perspectives and timeless wisdom for today's shifting paradigm. Now, it is your moment to open your mind, relax into your body and spirit as we explore the greater meaning of your now experience. Bringing wisdom, laughter, and clarity, here are Shri and Kira.
Well, namaste, beloved ones, and welcome to the Voice of Passionate Action. I am Kira.
And I am Shri Ram Ka, and together we are with you.
Indeed, we are. And we are, Shri, I know I say this so often, but I'm so excited about today because, Shri and I today are launching a month-long, powerful discussion about our planetary ascension and the Shakti exchange that's happening on the planet right now. It's early November. And this month is very exciting because it's a month where all of humanity has the opportunity to harness this energetic gift of a do-over. And I think we should talk about that, Shri.
Absolutely, because if it were any earlier in November, it would be October.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so precious. Right before we went on the air, we were chatting with Doug, our producer, that down here in Guatemala, we're still kind of in Dios de la Muerte hangover because unlike other parts of the world, down here, Halloween's not the big day. It's November 1, the Day of the Dead. It's huge down here.
That was a Saturday this year.
Yeah.
Go to the cemeteries. They bring picnics and booze.
And they literally bring in Ferris wheels and merry-go-rounds. I mean, the works.
Yeah. The cemetery.
Yeah.
And I frankly find it really beautiful.
I love it.
There's people that are there to have a few words with a loved one.
Yeah.
Literally to clear the air, or to mourn, or to celebrate.
Or to receive wisdom. This is the day they listen to spirit.
And there's those that are just there saying, we honor our ancestors.
Right.
And let's have a meal.
Yeah. And they do. And it's wonderful. We have a dish down here in Guatemala called fiambre. And right now it's a very popular dish. And Brussels sprouts come in this time of year. So that's a big piece of fiambre, along with all other types of vegetables and meats that they put on this fiambre that they make. But, the reason I'm bringing this up, along with the fact that we're still giddy with it, is that one of the things they do, and I love how this overlays with so many other traditions, it's when we start to see the weaving of the many traditions, is that they fly kites. And this is very reminiscent for Shri and I of the Tibetan prayer flag tradition, because the reason these kites are flown is to communicate to spirit, to send messages to spirit, and hold about 6 to 8 months in advance. So they start kite building by March and April. And some of these kites are like 10, 12, 14 feet in diameter.
There's those that really want to make a statement.
Right.
There's lots of small kites being flown that are beautifully decorated with brightly colored papers. And then there are the large ones that... the community kites. Yeah, that are basically saying we want to reach up into the heavens. We want to touch those who have left and stay connected to spirit.
It is a beautiful, colorful tradition. And I really feel that this year, especially as this November opens up this 5-month period of this, we're referring to this as the period of the Ascension initiation. Because remember, my angels, in the summer of 2014, we went through the powerful series of 3 blood moons. And this was a unique opening. And if you have not connected with the information we shared on that, it's all over there at YouTube. Just go to our YouTube channel, simply official Shri and Kira, and you'll find all this information. Go back and look at the July, August, and September revelations. But last July, when this information came in, when this energy of the planetary ascension opened, we announced then that we were opening up a portal that would remain open until March 2015. And that in March 2015, we're describing it as becoming like the escalator moment, because in March 2015, everybody's getting on the escalator. We're all going to be there, and that baby is not stopping until we hit 2022. So it's a very powerful moment. And, going back to what we opened with, Shri, there's this energy of like this galactic or humanitarian choice of a remake, or we're throwing around the words do-over.
The do-over. Everyone wants a do-over, and until
maybe
until we're clear that we're doing as good as we can.
Well, yeah, or we're like, okay, been there, done that. That's another option.
But truly, what we're wanting you to appreciate is that there's been such a lift in energy this year, and we're approaching a plateau moment where you will get the opportunity to witness, to harvest, to basically continue on.
Yeah.
And given how much has happened in the last 10 years, it will be nice to see a period that feels a little more like a plateau, even though it's continuing an ascension process.
Well, it's an escalator, but it's a gentle escalator.
It'll be more of a steady rather than this kind of cyclical thing.
Well, it's not an elevator, and I love, and that's part of why we picked this vision of the escalator, because an escalator is a little slower, a little more gentle, whereas an elevator is like this whoop, nosebleed kind of thing. And so in this ascension initiation of the next 5 months, in this month of November, one of the things that we want to chat about today is that we're in a very powerful moment. And what's happening right now is that the ancient wisdom, a lot of ancient wisdom is not only becoming manifest or more readily available, but I want to say the stream of manipulated energy is moving away from it. We're going to talk today about the rise of the Shakti, the planetary Shakti, and what that's meaning, and the calling back of the unification of the Shiva Shakti planetary energy. And then in the last show of this month, we're gonna this is a two-part for Sri and I. We're gonna open it today. We're gonna close it with the last show in November. In the middle, we have some amazing guests coming in this month, and we're gonna talk about at the end of the month what this means about the Chakra Vaastu for your body, for our planet, for your ascension initiation, because you've got November, December, January, February, and month 5. There we are, March. March is that month that puts you on that of the escalator. And so part of this right now is recognizing that October is complete, yet, we had the sun, we had the moon working together, we had these powerful eclipses, and then we had a Mercury retrograde that was spinning everything really back into neutral. And that's what you want to pay attention to. What's going on in your life right now that might feel chaotic, might feel out of flow? It's actually a restoration to neutral, and for your neutral to reset, thereby offering you kind of this do-over. Part of it is taking off the veil to the ancient wisdom, to the magic.
Well, I got this funny image I want to share with you.
Here it comes.
When you bake bread, there's a moment where you let it rise and then you pound it back before letting it fully rise.
And that always feels weird, doesn't it? Yeah. You're like, it looks so beautiful. I don't want to do this.
And to me, that's what this Mercury retrograde was about.
Great idea.
We were growing, expanding, and moving forward. And then there was this moment of pause, which actually sets the framework for even more growth, for even more expansion.
Right.
For the full rise, so to speak. and so here we are in November 2014, and we are beginning a process. We're moving forward in a way that really calls upon us to wake up and pay attention
evermore. And guys, want to remind you that this show is live. If you want to give us a buzz and join in the conversation, or have a question, or want a mini soul reading, just give us a call at 888-627-6008. 888-627-6008.
And so here we are, and oftentimes I feel like I'm a little repetitive when I say things like pay attention, or it's a call to be more mindful. However, it's essential that we remember each of us is on our journey.
Yeah.
And each of us gets distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know we've been distracted until our gaze shifts. How many times have you talked to somebody and they have that 1,000-mile stare? Now, I'm not saying that happens every day, but we know it when it happens, where there's that moment where the person just was lost in thought, lost in the gaze.
Or lost in space,
yes.
to date myself.
And that phenomenon is a little bit of an extreme example about how most people actually live their lives. Their attention is captured by the preoccupations of fear, money, sex, honey, meaning relationship, and this coping that so many people feel that they're caught in. Yet when we relax, when we breathe, we realize we're not just coping, we are accommodating the contracts and obligations we've made. We're accommodating our attentions. We're accommodating the stresses and pressures of the world. And the more we can relax our attention and widen our perspective, the more we will notice that we are part of an evolutionary cycle and the Shakti is indeed rising.
Yeah, that's a powerful discernment, Shri.
And this noticing is actually enriching.
Yeah.
And so that's really what we wanted to start bringing forward today, was that there is an energy shift on this planet. There is a rising energy, and it's beginning to purify in a most curious way.
Well, that's where I'm just looking at you going, ooh, because in that purification, I love the word you're using, because really that's what these 5 months are about. It's also what November is initiating as part of that do-over energy. When we reset back to neutral, it means that we accept the neutrality of the universe. The universe is ever abundant. The universe is ever creative. And we are, as beings, co-creative. We are always abundant. We are always co-creating. Yet, because of the illusion, the wide illusion, and the manipulated energy that this Kali Yuga is kind of crescendoing at, it's really a blessing. And I really want you guys to pay attention to this, that we're still in Kali Yuga, yet we have the blessing of the pinhole of light. And for those that are at that precipice, you have the opportunity to start paying attention to that.
Okay, Kira, I think you need to explain what is Kali Yuga.
Okay, I will do that. And so, for those of you that may not know, Shri and I are very aligned with and receive enormous amounts of information. And I also am a Gita scholar, and I've studied a lot of the Vedic scriptures. And what I can share with you in its essence, let's just do it in an essence, in a short form, is this: that in a system of ages, we are in the age of Kali Yuga. And the age of Kali Yuga is the time when we are the farthest away from our integrous spiritual truth, where the divine is as hidden as it could ever be.
So we're lost in the woods.
Well, I like lost in space. But the reality is we're never lost. And here's the blessing of it, because we can misperceive Kali Yuga. We can misperceive it as there is no chance, there is no hope. Yet remember, Kali Yuga is just one of several cycles, that everything is cyclical. The blessing of Kali Yuga, and it really is a blessing, is that before you took birth on this planet, before you said, hey, I'm standing in line, I want to go to Earth, you were aware of the linear timeline that you were requesting to be inserted into. And through that awareness, through that insertion, what's happened is that you were absolutely aware, your soul knows, your divine wisdom knows, your heart knows, that you were coming in at a time when everything, and I really mean that with the broad stroke, everything is manipulated, everything is buried, everything is twisted. And so the gift of that is that you have to be an incredibly enlightened master to say yes, to come into that. And so I pray that you can get that you can look within your own heart and realize that you've been the beggar, you've been the pauper, you've been the queen, you've been the king, you've been the enlightened one, you've been the not so enlightened one. Yet all of those gifts of your mastery have integrated and come forward, and you're here because you are the master. And if you're listening to our show, then whether you're listening to us because you want to diss us, or whether you're listening to us because you enjoy what you're saying, or whether you're listening to us because you're learning, the reality is that deep within you, there is this gift of enlightenment that is awakening, and expanding. And in the time of Kali Yuga, we are blessed with the opportunity to hone our discernment, because it's spiritual discernment that is the true gift of the master. And Kali Yuga brings that forward with a plethora of opportunity.
So often we're absorbed into our individual lives, and we don't look at the lens of the greater flow. The yugas, or the ages, each had qualities, and there's a cycle. And as we are coming out of or transitioning around the elliptical curve of the Kali Yuga, what this also means is there is light.
Right.
Even though there is confusion, distortion, manipulation, deception, and darkness, these very qualities make it easier to find peace, love, harmony, joy, healing, etc.
Is that so cool? I love that.
And so consider for a moment, before you get all depressed, is that we live in the zone of duality. And with the darkness comes the light. With the blessing comes the precautions. And it's important to be able to see both.
Absolutely.
Witness both.
Yes. Yes. And, Shri, here's what I love about this. And I don't want to debate, there's so many different people that will say, well, how many years is the Kali Yuga cycle? How many years is this? And, you have Swami Sri Yukteswar that had his own calculations that claimed other people were wrong. I don't want to debate that. What I want to do is invite you to look at the blessing of the age, because regardless of what calendar or what series of astrological years you're looking at, it's the energy of Kali Yuga and the recognition that these cycles always repeat. And so here's the gift, my angel. In the energy, and we're at a precipice moment. Remember, we're starting this ascension initiation. The entire planet is in an initiation phase for the next 5 months. And this just didn't come out of nowhere, right? I mean, this has been building. And so as we're in this initiation phase, what are you initiating? What are you bringing into your life? What's going on right now? And to remember, and I can't stress enough, go watch our videos that we just posted at YouTube. Go to officialshriandkira.com, watch the November revelations. And if you didn't watch the October, watch those two, and watch the 2 most recent installments. There's one on what is Ascension, very, very powerful, came in October, and the current one about technology versus spirit, because this is all part of that Kali Yuga manipulation, Shri.
And it's all part of the opportunity to cultivate your clarity.
Yes, yes.
This age we're in is a time of ascension.
Yes.
And so many people have used that word ascension.
Well, it's another part of the Kali Yuga.
And it's been distorted, misunderstood, etc. And we're not here to fill your brain with concepts. We are here to stimulate your own awareness, your own discernment, and to create an environment that will help you cultivate your divine wisdom. Mm-hmm. Because in this time of deception, manipulation, and distortion, that which is clear is sometimes not trusted at first.
Well,
it's mistaken.
Right. And here's the blessing of it. All of the false prophets will come forward. All of them. Remember, because we're in this time of allness. So everything is coming forward. And this is such a rich gift because sometimes people say to Shri and I, I used to listen to this, or I used to do that, and this was wrong, or that was wrong. The question I would invite you to ask yourself is, was it? Or was it exactly what you needed to hone your spiritual discernment? Because when you start trusting yourself, it is only you who can remember yourself awake. You must remember yourself awake. No one can do this for you. And as we begin remembering ourselves awake, it means that we are releasing our doubt within, because as the archangelic realm shares with us so often, it's only doubt that separates us from our truth. It's only doubt that keeps us away. And it's also the opportunity, as you remember yourself awake, to discern the blessings that are being given into your life, to discern the experiences, to notice, or as Archangel Zadkiel always says so well, your heart is the ultimate truth detector. And in the time of Kali Yuga, it is your heart without hesitancy or doubt that will reveal your own wisdom within and ignite you to remember yourself awake.
I love that phrase, remember yourself awake, because truly you took birth with everything you needed. And sometimes we just didn't turn around and look inside to see all the gifts.
Well, it always brings me back to Dorothy and her shoes, right? It's the red slippers, right? I just want to go home because it is all there. We have it all in our I would call it our physical backyard, right? We come in with everything we need to a planet that was also rich with everything we needed.
Absolutely. And what we're going to do right now is we'll take a little station break. And when we come back from these messages, we'll start tuning in with callers. And
wonderful.
We're going to go further. But for right now, stay with us. We'll be right back.